Creator and you want to get into media, Footballville looking for talent. Creator and you want to get into media, Footballville looking for talent. You could be anywhere across the nation. Send us a DM, show us what you can do. We're looking for creators, man. Footballville, we out.
That's a good play by him. Black, let's go, 11. That's all right, 11. We got to stay off the ground, I think, a little bit. But I like the fact that we were popping pads and running forward. We're going to be physical, guys. We're going to be able to throw it. We're going to go fast. Right now, we're going to be physical. And we're going to punch people right in the mouth because when we're up at the end of the game by 7 points and we need to grind it out, we're going to be able to do that.
Who deserve a job and who don't deserve a job. Yeah, man. Kind of weird to me. So it's a 786-459-499. Oh, look at my boy Sean Rounds, right off the back. Bam! 1999. Sean Rounds, right off the back. Sean, happy to see us tonight, huh? So I thought it was going to be another boring night, Sean, when you reminiscing about being in college, going out on Fridays. Now you're looking at the kids do science projects, huh? And bam, we come in, we jump in this thing, man. Spice up your night a little bit, Sean. Go Wyatt say the chat open. Go Wyatt on snitch. Go Wyatt on snitched on everybody. Oh, the chat open. Go Wyatt on jumped in here. On snitched on everybody. It's late, Go Wyatt, man. I don't know if them villains up tonight, man, but we finna test it. 70%, man, we'll open it back up. Go Wyatt in here snitching. We're gonna test it, man. We're gonna see if the villains up late tonight, bro. Got stream Mellis bot running. So man, 786-459-499. If y'all want to get down with IOD squad, one-on-ones, and need to get your credit fixed, man. Let's see. We'll run this like this. So right off the back, man, Eric Bieniemy, bro. We're gonna get into this, man. We're gonna get into this tonight. Eric Bieniemy, class act, been doing this thing. OC for the Chiefs. Get into this thing. I'm pull. I think he won 2 Super Bowls. I'm almost sure he won 2 Super Bowls. I think he won 2 Super Bowls. And for the last couple of years, we've been talking about how he hadn't got a look. Offensive coordinator, running backs coach. We're going to get into Shane Steichen, too, and explain who that guy is. Shane Steichen. Eric Bieniemy. I'm going to bring my boy Kyle and Richard here. Kyle, Rich, what's going on, bro?
What up?
What's good?
Yeah, 2 Super Bowls, Eric Bieniemy. 2-time Super Bowl champs, offensive coordinator. And the argument has been like, why hasn't he gotten a look?
I know why. Because that Shane Stikachich, whatever his name is, He
Chich.
he taught Jalen Hurts how to play football. If it wasn't for him, I don't even know if Jalen would have got drafted. But
Man,
Bienemy, on the other hand, he was just fortunate enough to get the one Patrick Mahomes, generational guy, and then he was fortunate enough to be hired by Andy Reid. I mean, come on, he ain't do nothing. All he did was he just surrounded by talented people. That's all.
Eagles request. Oh my God.
Stick a chit try to get it out the mud.
Stick a chich. And who else got hired? Jonathan Gannon. He's the defensive coordinator for Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of the losing coordinators got jobs.
That sounds so bad. That sounds so bad, dog. What his name is? John Gannon. Let's see.
It don't matter.
That sounds so bad. Both of the losing coordinators got jobs. Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon is now the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. The crazy part is this, though. The wild part is what's going on, King. The wild part is Jonathan Gannon, nor did Stickenstein. Neither one of them played the game. Neither one of them. Neither one of them played the game. Not at that level. They did in high school. He went to UNLV. It doesn't say he played at UNLV. Student graduates. He started coaching at UNLV. Maybe he did play, maybe not. But neither one of them played the game at the level of Eric Bieniemy. This doesn't say he played for UNLV. Grad assistant in 2007. Head coach in 2023. That's Stickenstein. Jonathan, student assistant in 2003 at Louisville. Went to college at Louisville. Doesn't say he played at Louisville. Head coach 2000. This is wild. Head coach 2023. Now, Eric Bieniemy. Here's the thing with Eric Bieniemy. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at these guys' personal life. Personal life. He is married to Gina Gannon. That's Jonathan Gannon personal life on Wikipedia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stickenstein, Shane Stickenstein, his personal life. A native of Sacramento, California, Stickenstein earned his degree in journalism. He attended El Dorado Hills, California, and earned the area MVP honors after leading his squad to the conference sectional in 2022. He earned the MVP honors after the conference section 2022. His wife Nina has a son, husband has a daughter, yada yada yada. Eric Bieniemy personal life. Let's see. Eric Bieniemy personal life. Him and his wife Mia has two sons, Eric, Andrew, Jamal, played basketball at University, blah blah blah. But on top of his personal life is legal issues.
Okay.
He's the only one who has that bracket, legal issues. He's the only one who has that. Eric Bieniemy's legal issues. As a player of Colorado, Bieniemy was arrested along with a teammate, Cannabis McGee, following February 1988 bar fight. McGee said the dispute arose, and Bieniemy alleged that he had been called a little knuckle. In 1988, somebody called Eric Bieniemy a little knuckle, and fists started flying, Kyle.
In 1988.
Somebody called him a nut.
He pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct. How the heck, Rich? How you get on Front Street? He pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct. That was in 1988. In 1989, Eric Bieniemy was ticketed in West Bend, Colorado for driving a defective vehicle in rural Colorado for speeding in October 1990. His license was suspended for a year after another traffic violation on March 21st. Bienemy was caught speeding and driving with suspended license on I-70 near Rifle, Colorado. I ain't never gonna drive through Rifle, Colorado. Going 92 miles per hour. Bienemy drove through it going 92 miles per hour. 1991, Bienemy failed to appear in court on charges relating to March 21st incident. A bench warrant was issued for Colorado first his arrest on April 23rd, 1991, 2 days after Bienemy was drafted. He got arrested 2 days after he was drafted in the NFL. I don't remember that. On July 4th, 1990, Bienemy pleaded no contest to interfering with a firefighter who had been performing his duties to extinguish the fire in Bienemy's mother's garage. Bienemy received an 8-month suspended sentence and was suspended for 1 game. Bienemy was instructed to do 40 hours of community service and attended 8-hour firefighting training. What? They sent him to firefighter training. An assistant attorney said that Bienemy failed to attend the firefighter training. No shit. Session is stipulated in plea agreement, but Bienemy asserted the session was optional. On September 27, 1993. All right. Bienemy was arrested in Boulder, Colorado for allegedly harassing a female parking attendant. According to the police report, while with his friends, Bienemy put his hands on the attendant's neck, startling her. She told police. Bienemy and his friends took off their pants and began urinating nearby. Bienemy was also named in an outstanding warrant on the charge of driving with suspended license. As a result of this incident in April 2001, Bienemy was arrested again for driving under the influence and was docked a month's pay. So Bienemy was really active from 88. In the 90s, he had a little turbulence, right?
Now, how much of that is connected to something like alcoholism?
What you mean? He may have an alcohol problem?
He probably did in the past.
Remember the Dolphins had that coach with the coke problem?
Mm-hmm. He back coaching too. I mean, to say he has an alcohol problem, I mean, he had a pretty long career for an alcoholic. That usually don't happen, so I'm not going to connect those dots.
How do we get in this conversation? Because Eric Bieniemy, who's been the OC at Kansas City for around, he was a running back coach from 2013, 2010. He was Colorado OC 2011. He was the OC at Kansas City since 2018 and won 2 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes in one of the most prolific offenses, right, that we've seen in a while. Now, this was why Bienemy was there, right?
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes kicked ass. Bienemy is the offensive coordinator. And it always seemed like when the offensive coordinator got a tan and the head coach is a guru, we're not sure who calling the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Got 13,000 cameras in the goddamn stadium, and we ain't sure who calling the plays. Get us on the Harbaugh. We weren't sure who called the plays when they had only when they had success. We ain't sure who called the plays. Okay, let's get this straight. Let's get this straight.
He got all the blame when he got to Miami. All that shit.
Now here's another one too. I'm gonna bring this up as well. Andy Reid had some issues with his sons when he was both with Philadelphia and with Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make him not eligible to be a head coach?
Let's put up Andy Reid. One of them committed suicide or something, no?
Yeah, his son was always into drugs and shit. I mean,
yeah, one of them was trapping out of his house at one point when he was with the Eagles.
That boy said trapping.
Yeah, his son was quote unquote unbeknownst to Andy Reid, he was trapping out the house.
Andy Reid has married 5 children, right? Reid's oldest son, Garrett, died of a heroin overdose in 2012 August. His youngest son served under his father until he was not offered a new contract after 2020 season following his arrest.
Mm-hmm. He was arrested for drugs too, I believe, right?
Wow. Period after the arrest. Let's see. It said right here, huh? I know Wikipedia was so savvy. He most recently served as an outside linebacker coach on Andy Reid practice squad. No, it don't say why he got arrested. So, okay, so those are his 2 sons, right? He had some issues with his sons, right?
Yeah, the second one hit someone.
He did?
Yeah.
So Eric Bieniemy, 2 Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes, one of the most prolific offenses, and somehow he will not be linked to the success of that offense because we don't even look at it like that now. Think about what I just said. He's standing there with the name, the job title of the OC. The offense is setting the NFL on fire, and for some reason, we don't link him to the offense. Patrick Mahomes is a goddamn the greatest quarterback we ever saw, and Andy Reid is a genius.
Now let's think about this for a second. Who was Patrick Mahomes' coach at Texas Tech?
Was it Cliff?
Yeah, I think it was Kingsbury.
Tell me.
The former Arizona coach who just got fired. So that was Mahomes' head coach at Texas Tech, and they couldn't win more than 7 games.
What at what? At Arizona?
At Texas Tech.
Oh,
I'm just connecting
Mahomes?
the dots. Yeah, he had. You had a quote unquote NFL coach in waiting who had the best quarterback in the league right now at his disposal for a couple years, could not do anything of significance with him. He leaves and goes to become the head coach. Then you get Mahomes, who comes into this offense, and just based off of what he did at Texas Tech, you would never ever think, you wouldn't be like, oh man, this guy's going to be one of the best quarterbacks, based on what I saw him do in college. I mean, he was a solid quarterback. So you can attribute some of his growth as a player to the coaches that surround him. And whether you like it or not, one of those coaches is Eric Bieniemy. Because I guarantee you, Mr. Stickenstein, I guarantee you they like, oh man, how did you get Jalen to be so good? What did you do? You know, guys like him, they like to run first. Those are the conversations he had, when he was interviewing. We know that.
Okay, y'all talk about Andy Reid and him as an OC. We know Andy Reid he's good on offense, but you saying Reid is one of the greatest OCs ever, right? I don't know if that title, they didn't give him that title in Philly, did it? I mean, it's just amazing how he's in Philly. Like we know he can call an offense. We know that, right? I don't know if anybody was calling him one of the greatest OCs ever. I guess now that he's over there with Pat Mahomes, now you're saying he's one of the whatever. But even if that was true in Philly, the guy under him got a head coaching gig.
Right.
The guy under him now can't get a head coaching gig.
Yeah, two
In
guys under him
Philly,
who got a head coaching job.
right?
Two.
In Philly, they ran him up out of there. Did they not? Now all
Yes,
of a
they did.
sudden, he's great and yada and da 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 da. Andy Reid was one of those guys that they said was never going to win a Super Bowl,
Right.
and now he's got to. All the credit goes to Andy Reid. I mean, the goalpost moves, whether it's on the left side or the right side, it gets pushed back further and further. Who no matter, like it depends on who it is that's chasing the goalpost. Some of these guys get the goalpost pushed closer to them. It's like I'm getting ready to kick. Oh, that guy's outside. Let's move up 5 yards. That's for some of the guys. For some people, they just keep pushing it. Nah, you need to kick this from the 50, bro. Okay.
Tennessee Titan head
Definitely.
coach last 5 years, 2018 and 2023, Mike Vrabel. Y'all like Mike Vrabel?
He's a good coach, but I feel like Vrabel is learning on the job, and they're gonna let him.
He's been the coach for 5 years, right?
Yeah. He learning on the job. He getting OJT.
I got a question. I give you a good example.
1 second, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
When he played at Ohio State in 1990, police arrested Vrabel and his teammate for assaulting a man in Kent, Ohio. The coaching occurred in a bar parking lot. According to CBS, Vrabel and teammate pleaded guilty to lesser charges of disorderly conduct, paid a fine, blah, blah, blah. In 2011, Indiana police arrested Vrabel for the theft from an Indiana riverboat casino. Vrabel's agent released a statement, Pro Football Talk, said Vrabel took accountability for the incident. Both times he said he did it. Tennessee head coach for 5 years. When you look at his Wikipedia, there's no section that says legal issues.
Mm.
Just genius. Just genius all over.
I mean, since we're talking about Vrabel, when Tom Brady came into the league and he won his first, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 Super Bowls or 2. Tom was very pedestrian. Tom was just on the team, not messing up the game. Did he make some big throws in the fourth? Yeah, but Tom, he was just on the team, not messing up the game. Why was Charlie Weiss such a hot commodity coming out of that? And how many OCs has Tom Brady gone on to play with that have got head coaching gigs? They gave Josh McDaniel. He's gotten what? He's gotten 3 or 4 jobs. Sucked at one, quit at the other. Now he's back at it again. They keep on coming for him. He keeps on getting these jobs. But Tom Brady down in Tampa, Byron Leftwich. No, bro. You ain't good enough. I'm not saying Byron should have got a head coaching job. I'm just saying, well, Byron gets fired after having one bad year.
He's not even interviewing.
Right. And everybody attributes him winning the Super Bowl and his offense to Tom Brady. Then when it goes bad, Byron Leftwich gets fired. So Tom was a good play caller one year, but not the next. I don't understand. Come on, man. This is ridiculous.
No, bro. So Eric Bieniemy leaves Kansas City to go to Washington to be the assistant head coach. There we go with the assistant head coach here. And more money. And people are saying, I hope he do well over there. Only thing I can think of is he left for more money because he know he'll never get a head coaching job. Or somebody told him, listen, man, we finna fire everybody next year. You'll be the head coach.
I think it's neither. I think it's he just, I don't know who sat down and talked to him. Or maybe it just got beaten to his head to the point where he just had to believe that these people were telling him what's right. And that's go off and prove yourself away from Andy Reid. And that's how you're going to get the gig. somebody got that into his head. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying actually I am. I'm saying it's 100% wrong. I'm not saying it's right. It's 100% wrong that people kept saying that bullshit crap. He finally had to succumb to it. I'm sure that man don't know what else to do. Like, what else can I do? Maybe these people are right. Maybe let me try it, even though I don't, it's messed up, but maybe let me try it. That's the only reason he left. Grass ain't always green on the other side, man. You can go to Washington and that can end your OC career. You know what I'm saying? I stay with Patrick Mahomes and win 4 Super Bowls. But he's looking at it like, oh, how am I gonna get this head coaching job? This is the only way. Probably it's rocking a hard place, man. What am I gonna do?
I honestly think that in order for this to really be rectified, in order for this to really stop happening, is you got to have some buy-in from the other side too. Like, you're gonna have some folks who don't have tans when they go get these jobs to relinquish their jobs and say, look, I'm not taking it until Bienemy gets a head coaching job.
Oh, you know that ain't happening.
Well, there you go. Because we're talking about this. But remember how fandom works. The average fan of the Cowboys, Commanders, Chiefs, they do not care. They don't care whether or not Bienemy is on that sideline or on anybody else's sideline. They care about the result. They care about going to the games. They care about being a fan. That's how fandom is. So until it hits your living room, until you really start to realize how much this does affect, because the NFL is a microcosm of society, right? So when you a bruh and you've been at the job for 20 years and you still an assistant manager and you go do everything, you go get the degrees, you go do this, you go do that, you don't get in trouble, you keep your nose clean, you start wearing khakis, you cut your hair, and you still don't get the job. And you like, man, what am
Everybody
I
remember this play? You said,
So,
what am I doing? I'm losing myself, huh?
Right. So that's all I'm saying. So, it is what it is.
Hey, now I want to say
everybody remember this play from the Super Bowl right here. Let me see. Pull it back up. McKinnon took a handoff at the 11 with about 2 minutes left in the remaining game. Remaining found himself wide open for a touchdown, but instead of scoring, he made a slide at the 2-yard line and stayed in bounds. It kept the clock running so that when Kansas City kicked the go-ahead field goal, Philadelphia wouldn't have much time to make a play. Hey, we all remember this play, right? Patrick Mahomes. I want to get a credit to Eric Bieniemy, Mahomes said, because even though sometimes we get tired of them talking about those moments, they always seem to happen in the biggest games. And he makes sure we go through the details about them every single week. Bienemy, Kansas City offensive coordinator, deflected the praise back to McKinnon. Because I just went to search. I said, let me go search and see what Mahomes has said about Bienemy over the years, right? So Mahomes is telling you, you know what I'm saying, who's the coordinator. But for some reason, Andy Reid is one of the greatest coordinators ever. What Sean just said, right?
Right.
You know why? You know why we believe that? I'm gonna tell y'all why we believe that, because I'm in media. You know why we believe that Andy Reid is one of the greatest coordinators ever? That's what the fuck they say on the TV. We don't know these dudes from a can of paint, dog. I've been told by NFL players, listen, dog, I only been coached well once or twice in the NFL. The rest of them were just guys. But they tell us these guys are geniuses. They give the credit. They give the credit when Jalen Hurts out there going crazy. They give the credit to his offensive coordinator live on TV, and then we believe it. Kansas City out there doing do-si-do and getting in formation and running fucking plays that's unstoppable on the goal line, and we don't know who called the goddamn play. We don't know who gets the credit for it.
That's Andy Reid being that old crafty veteran Andy Reid. Look at this formation. Nobody but Andy Reid can think of something like this.
No, he didn't do that. You know for a fact, no old school coach is gonna do no crap like that. That had to come from a dude who would take a piss by a parking attendant. Shout out to
don't get me
coming in. Shout out to you, bro. You got the memo, huh?
Yeah,
shout out to that boy named Gage Shotty, boy. How many times you done been arrested, Gage? Huh? That boy named Gage Shotty.
Now check it. I mean, nobody on this panel is saying that Andy is not a great coach. That's not what we're trying to insinuate.
I don't give a damn. Listen, Rich. I don't care, Rich. We believe it. We believe it because they say they give him the credit. No different than we believe Joe Brady was the reason why goddamn God's son, the quarterback, Joe Burrow, was throwing the ball around the yard when he was at LSU because they said it 3-4 times during that national championship.
Right. And I gotta say this too, and I it is what it is. So 305 Kane rep. You also gotta put respect on Eric Bieniemy's name too.
Yeah, dog. You
gotta put respect on his name too.
Yeah. I don't think they understand. I don't. The reason we believe these things, the next genius is Todd McVay. Well, there's a genius that got skipped in the middle of that, and he's at Pittsburgh. Never called a genius.
Never called him a genius.
But the next one coming, the next hottest coach is McVay. The next hottest coach is McVay, not the dude who never had a losing season.
Right. And you know what? McVay had a terrible season this year. Terrible. With all that talent. They're not saying that he's less of a genius coach.
Mm-hmm.
He still has a job.
Bro, the losing team coordinators got head coaching jobs.
Both of them.
Sean, 305. Sean, you my guy. The losing team head coach, offensive coordinators got head coaching jobs the next day.
So let me ask this. Let's play 3-card Monty here. So are we saying because we understand that Andy is a great coach, because I think we're moving the bar here. We're not talking about Andy being a great coach. What we're talking about is
perception.
The winning offensive coordinator did not get a head coaching job, whereas the losing offensive and defensive coordinators, they both got promotions.
Listen, man, I don't want y'all to hear what you want to hear. Y'all got to hear what we're saying. We just talking about the perception of it all. Like, it's easy to call Andy Reid a genius, but nobody was calling him the greatest OC when he was in Philly, right? But now he is. And that's great. We don't have a problem with that. But it's just showing you how the goalpost moves, right? And he gets run out of Philly. He goes to Kansas City. Now he's the greatest since sliced bread, right? Eric Bieniemy does his thing, and it's still, oh, you got to go prove yourself. What do you need me to do? I am the OC. The guys are telling you, hey, he gets us prepared for this. He's the one called this play. He's the one that saw that weakness in the Philly defense. You got Tyreek Hill, who ain't even there no more, talking about Eric Bieniemy. You got the coach that when does it matter for that guy is what we're saying. Nobody's saying Andy Reid is not. Y'all stop hearing what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're trying to say. Andy gets all the props in the world, but Andy's not there by himself. There's somebody else out there that's doing a damn good job, and he's not getting the credit for it. That's what we're saying. I don't know why y'all keep talking about Andy's not getting credit or getting no respect. That's not the point.
It's not.
Right? No, they got stuck. They got stuck there. They got stuck. They got stuck there. Like when you argue with your girlfriend in the house and she gets stuck on the word always. You always do that. I always. Remember that, and then the goddamn conversation take another. They got stuck there, but at the same time, we gotta ask ourselves, why are we so passionate about Andy Reid being a good coach?
Right?
He ain't even here. He ain't in the chat. Like we gotta ask ourselves. We gotta ask ourselves, why are we so passionate and sure about Andy Reid being a good coach? And Bienemy, we're not sure.
And Andy don't need none of us capping for him, because guess what? He already the head coach.
What if, talking about some irony, what if Eric Bieniemy is saving Andy Reid's ass? What if? What if Eric Bieniemy knows Andy Reid ass, doesn't want to coach no more, he's sitting in the goddamn coach's office and eat fucking donuts all day long, and he's saving his ass? Y'all never thought about that?
Let's say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying this is the truth at all, but think of how far-fetched it is for you to sit there and say, Andy ain't win nothing until he got Eric Bieniemy as the OC. That sounds blasphemous. It's the truth, but it sounds blasphemous because then it's like you're taking away from Andy Reid. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Andy. I always thought Andy was a great coach. Always. But at the same time, how come Eric Bieniemy's attachment to Andy Reid is no benefit to Eric Bieniemy? It doesn't make any sense, man.
Right.
I didn't know that, Kyle. I didn't know that.
And
Andy Reid won the same 2 Super Bowls that Eric Bieniemy won.
Right.
Same one.
The same 2.
Because he would get to games and it reminded me of Mark Richt when I would watch his games. I'm like, I see why Andy don't never win the big one. Andy always stopped doing certain things, like he stopped blitzing or stopped running, or you can always just see it like, Andy, what you doing? But all of a sudden now, that ain't it no more. Andy's a genius. Andy's always calling the right things. Andy's always doing it perfectly. And I'm not saying that to mock Andy at all. I'm just saying, look at how we look at things, how we're taught to look at things. Now, all of a sudden, everybody forget the phase in Philly. Everybody forget the game that he lost to Tom Brady in Kansas City. Everybody forget all that stuff now. And that's not taken away from Andy. Andy's great. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving y'all an example of how we perceive things.
KB, don't say it again. I'm putting your ass in the back room. Don't say it again. That's just the apologeticness in us, dog.
But I mean it though.
He won the same 2 Super Bowls that Eric Bieniemy won.
Right.
By the way, Gad Shotty said he got 9 felony convictions. He won the same 2 Super Bowls, dog.
And just reading it real quick. Just reading it. Eric Bieniemy agreed to terms on a multi-year deal as their assistant head coach / offensive coordinator. His agent Jason Fletcher tells me. So you fly all the way to Washington from Kansas City for them to be like, all right, man, we're going to make you, I know we need a head coach. We're going to make you an assistant, big dog.
Washington doesn't have a head coach right now?
I don't know. I think they
They
don't
got
have
to.
one. How
They
bad
have
they are.
to. They have to. Ask the chat. Who's watching the head coach, chat?
Wasn't it supposed to be Rivera anyway?
I think, did he get fired? Is he still there? Maybe
I
he's
think
still
he's
there.
in the, yeah, I think he's in the front office now.
Oh, no. Big Q say Ron Rivera. He's still there.
Oh, he's still there. Okay.
Thomas Brown got picked up by Carolina?
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
That's all right.
But once
That's good.
again, they say he may
Wait.
not.
Wasn't he the when we just hold on, Rich. Weren't we just talking about Thomas Brown and that assistant head coach
Yeah.
title?
Yeah.
Right.
When he
We
be
just
next,
talking
right?
about that. That
Now
is
he's
not
the
the
OC.
next. That is not the next step to a head coaching job. We just talked about that.
That's weird, though.
Not only that, but I already saw chatter about the head coach over there not really relinquishing play calling to the offensive coordinator. That's already done started before he even got the job.
Wait, didn't Sean say the Colts don't have a head? Yeah, did the Colts they hire Philly's OC? What did Philly OC go to?
I think it
Coach.
was Philly's OC. Yeah. He went to
Okay,
going
yeah,
to the
Sean.
Colts.
They got Sean. They got the loser OC.
Shout out to Mom 4694, man. If he produced decently with a poor quarterback, I think it strengthens future lawsuits similar to Flores' complaint. Damn, that boy getting deep. That boy getting deep.
Oh, 305 Kenny said earlier. He said everybody we got on him. He was saying the same thing. I don't think it meant to come off as we got on you, because I know you're talking about a show or two ago. I don't think it meant to come off as we was getting on you. It's just the just what you said just kind of made everybody, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't you. And I think I said that too. It wasn't you. It was just the fact that thought process has to float around, man. Even right now,
Right.
as I said, it pisses me off to say it. And I think somebody just finally beat into his head and he had to go do it. And I don't think I would have done it. I don't know, man. My pride probably wouldn't let me do it. I don't know.
No, we never get on anybody in here, man. Listen, man, Sean Rounds gives more money in here than goddamn y'all gave to Yahweh. I'm never gonna get on him. And we just was talking about it. With the conversation, bro. Now, Sean Rounds loves Andy Reid, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So no, we're not getting it. When we talk about you, bro, we're not getting on you. You know what I'm saying? That's not it. We just pull your comment out and yeah, it's kind of like a mindset, man. It's a weird thing, man.
How do you what did Frank Reich do to get fired and then hired again? Come on, man. You got replaced by Jeff Saturday, bro. What the come on. Right.
Frank Reich, wait up. Frank Reich is the head coach where?
Carolina.
But he got fired where at? The Colts?
The Colts.
Yep.
Bro, come on.
Come on, Rich.
Man.
Come on, Rich. Help us out, Rich. Who's in corporate America? What are we looking at here? What is this called? What is this called?
The
Colts
good old
goes to the Super Bowl, right? And then, okay, so we hired that guy to be our head coach after the Super Bowl. The fans feel good. He's a Super Bowl OC. It gives the fan, you know what I'm saying? It has something to do with ticket sales, and you know what I'm saying? Like the feeling of the program. We hired Eric Bieniemy. It's not a splash. People gonna bring out the hoods. They might burn a couple crosses. Does it have something to do with that?
Man, you can't even say that with somebody like Bienemy, because when you bring Bienemy over there, you get that nostalgic feeling of maybe our quarterback could be like Patrick Mahomes. Maybe they'll start running the same plays for our quarterback. What do you get when you bring Mr. Stitchenstein over? Oh, he just lost the big one.
Nah,
Okay.
Jalen Hurts. Oh, he rated Jalen Hurts. Sean Brown, shout out 1999. Said, I'm not bigger than the board, fam. I respect y'all opinion. I support Caneville and Footballville. Slander me. I'm cool, fam. Nah, you John Ruiz. Shut up.
I was just gonna say, bro, you are bigger than the board.
You are, no, you
bigger
John
than the
Ruiz. You
board.
can do what you want to do. You can actually be
Tell
like,
you.
hey, Street, man. Hey, Street, you need to do morning show at 11 o'clock. And I probably do it, dog. Like, you John Ruiz, dog. Stop being so humble. I hate it. Like, I hate when we always humble and shit. No, dog. You John Ruiz. You got a little power in here, bro. No, man. It's
What 305? Hold on.
I'm trying to, KB.
Let me address what 305 say, because I don't agree with that at all. Well, I'm gonna ask you this. He says, I think a head coach's legacy is dictated by their coaching tree. I don't think so. You know why? Because I think the greatest head coach ever is Bill Belichick. His coaching tree sucks. All those guys are good coordinators. Head coaches, they suck. So I don't know about that one.
That's a good point. And
I
see 305's point, and I see it. I can definitely see it, because when you talk about Tony Dungy, you talk about the successful folks that came from under the coaching tree of Tony Dungy. So I definitely see how that could definitely be a thing. But what is also a thing is the fact that when you're an OC and you're a winning OC, and especially when you win the Super Bowl, you're supposed to be the number one candidate for the next opening head coaching job. That should be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, what we have going on is the goalpost is moved because OCs may look different. So it's like, well, there's some other guy in college. There's another guy who just finished coaching high school. Man, that boy could call plays. Or so it's who's defining this stuff? Who's putting the definition on what it means to be great?
Right. Hey, Shotty on fire in this comment section. He just became a member. I see why, but dog got a lot to say.
Let him lose that shot. Let them shots go, boy.
He's a dog real fast on Google and Siri.
Yeah, I like that Bill Walsh comment. Yeah, you absolutely right about that.
but you know what? But you know, we can look at it like this too, and I do think it's important. I think, like, where you come from, you know what I'm saying, who you came up on. I think that plays a part in a lot of things. But when we talk about coaching tree now, sports is a copycat league, and see, that's the thing. Is it that certain guys have great coaching trees, or that certain guys, because they were so great, their guys got the opportunity? Like, I think that's a fair question, because when you win, everybody comes and poaches your guys, right? And somewhere along the way, you get to a team where you end up with a Patrick Mahomes. I'm not taking a shot at Andy. I'm giving y'all an example. You end up with a Patrick Mahomes, and that kind of helps you to keep on winning. Like Street says, he's starting to look at it like, man, you get the talent. That goes a long way to your genius, right? So you start to pluck guys that, you know what I'm saying, come from the winner. And then you go to certain places and you win, guys come pluck from the winner. So we look at Bill Walsh and Bill Parcells, we look at all these coaching trees and stuff, and part of it has to be that their guys just got the opportunity because they came from the winning, coming from the winning franchises.
So we done went and found head coaches that have been arrested also. Cause Eric Bieniemy has his faults now. He has his faults.
30 years ago, he did.
Huh?
I said 30 years ago, he did. He was there.
Thomas Brown just got picked up with his Carolina head coach. Carolina OC. And he was the assistant head coach.
He was the assistant head coach.
And what's your other boy, Raheem? What's your boy, Raheem? Was it Raheem Morris? Over there in St. Louis, is it?
What's going on, man? What's going on, YD?
What about him?
Hey, man, we're finna bring in special guy, man, Star Georgia.
I said, why he doesn't have a head coaching job? Because it's not just Bienemy. Like everybody saying it's not about Bienemy. It's not just him. Don't get me wrong. There are a few guys that get an opportunity here and there and all that kind of stuff. But what happened after Raheem after they won a Super Bowl? Ain't nobody come and pluck him, did they? Still over at the same job.
Right.
I gotta.
Check this out. I didn't realize how. You think Thomas Brown ever get a head coaching job?
Nope.
I interviewed him during COVID.
Point of coaching. So if it's the right opportunity, the right time, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
So, Coach, listen. You had a lot of success. You had a lot of success coming out of high school, and even at Georgia, you had a lot of success, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was pretty near. And, me and Gus, we kind of stay in contact. When Tennessee Chattanooga is where I started.
Right.
And, you don't have basketball. Like, you see the name says Thomas Brown Sr. My license says Thomas Brown Jr. You know who Card is. But having to go through that dynamic when it comes to racial profiling is obviously something
he gets into it
right now. But it's a deeper issue that's kind of ingrained in every fabric of.
He really gets into it. He's talking about, hey man, how we overcome it.
Right.
Like
I think it become like a norm, like growing up being black, and we kind of.
I think again, those who put a system in place to educate you to how to have freedom, like that's not gonna happen. Like that's never happened in any society.
Right.
And like I think. Like I said before, we're miseducated a bunch from the black community standpoint. The white community is too, because all the values they uphold, and even like I keep it from a football standpoint, there was, I would say, prior to 1940, when everything was segregated from a sports sport. I might be off my dates, but there was actually a time when people believed that we were inferior to them athletically.
Right.
Nobody would say that today. Okay, until you lined up next to me and got smoked by me, a lot of against me to play me in basketball or football, you were allowed to still hold your same thought process and preconceived false notions about myself. For us to understand and be able to educate ourselves and on who we really are, where we come from, and having that.
That's all the heavy talk.
I've been vocal about.
Right. I've had people tell me, "Hey, listen, man, this is 2020. That would have to be a lot."
The car put me in handcuffs. Keith Marshall. So I was on there a year. So Brian McClendon, my dog B-Mac, was at Oregon now. He recruited all those guys.
I didn't realize you talked about Brian McClendon.
My guy that coached me in college, Tony Ball, left to go to LSU. B-Mac moved to receivers, and I came from Wisconsin. And it was like video game numbers week in and week out.
Who's the most talented player you've ever played or coached? Like you think about it, you like, man, that dude, that was unreal.
So I would say playing wise, cat you probably don't know.
Yeah.
The guys that went to Georgia, Odell Thurman was probably the most talented dude I've been around.
I asked him.
But definitely had ability that it's hard to come out. Even, Mark, I feel unfortunately had to deal with the high panic from an NFL standpoint, but just talk about natural God-given ability. Those guys definitely had super talent.
Mark Walton?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him in the same category natural ability wise, to be honest with you, as Sony and Chubb and Melvin. But he definitely had a great skill set.
Man, Sony Michel here in South Florida, man, is like a legend, man.
And you got a lot more people speaking up and being public about it that probably wouldn't say stuff before. Moved a bunch of my career. So honestly, other than Miami, I've only been, 1 year everywhere I've been. So obviously Georgia, Wisconsin, Marshall, where I started. So had a chance to,
I asked him because I wanted to get to it. I asked him about Yearby and which one did he think would go to make it to the NFL. He said all of them. He said, bro, they all was super talented. Yearby, Mark Walton, and who was Yearby, Mark Walton, and Duke.
Maybe Duke was on the tail end of when he came in.
I was trying to find it. He said all of them though. Let me
Coach,
see.
Sonny Michelle, Nick Chubb.
Just about to ask you that. Did you recruit
Keith Marshall. Nah, so I was on there a year. Catch you probably don't know.
Oh, that you coach.
Also, coaching wise, I mean, Melvin Gordon, just the year I had there in 2014, where he broke almost every rushing record in college football. And it was like a video. I mean, the stuff that guy did was, but definitely had ability that it's hard to come.
Mark Walton. There's a lot going on right now.
These that you can find an area if you're gonna be honest, which it didn't go as long as I wanted to.
Right.
But no, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
No.
With them, and ended up kind of finishing my career up, and then kind of jumped into coaching. Maybe about 4 or 5 months after I got done playing. It's funny you asked me that. My wife asked me the same question maybe like 2 weeks with them, and ended up kind of finishing my career up, and then kind of jumped into coaching. Maybe about 4 or 5 months after I got done playing.
Would you all of that, man, the playing in the sun and practicing in the sun, everything you had to go through at Georgia, like would you do it again?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you asked me that. My wife asked me the same question.
Because I think Thomas Brown was like a real good running back. He was like really good at Georgia.
Yeah, he was decent. He was decent.
No, that's crazy. That thing got 5,000 views. I didn't realize that. This might have to be significant. I might have to get this to House 17, KB.
I don't know, Street. Once they get out, he still ain't getting no job. He get that out. Wait till he get a job first.
They can cut it up. They ain't gotta put the fight the power part of the interview, dog.
Let him get his head coach and get
on
it
that cane juice.
No, listen. Let me put this in perspective. This was during COVID. This was during COVID when the NFL was trying to understand. You see what I'm saying? He was able to talk like this because he had just went in front of the team and basically told them, hey, listen, y'all don't go through what we went through. And he said he gave it to McVay. He was like, man, I gave it to him. Like, what the fuck y'all thought? Y'all thought we lived the same life? he said they sat there and they listened. So this was during the same time.
Yeah, McVay's a younger guy, right?
Huh?
McVay's a younger guy, right? That's the thing. That's the key. So, like what Rich was kind of alluding to earlier, those guys are not gonna like start and saying, "Oh, we're not doing this and that until this and that gets a fair shot." That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is the old guard is going to have to go out. You're going to have to get some younger owners basically, and some younger head coaches and stuff that's going to see the world in a different way. As we talk about holding Eric Bieniemy to what we did 30 years ago, and nobody's going to hold Jerry Jones to what he did. What was it? 50 years ago, whatever, because it was 50 years ago. Till you remove the Jerry Joneses and all those type of guys, that's the only time you're going to see it different when the old guard goes away and the new guard